When the finance minister presented Budget 2022, India was just coming out of strict restrictions imposed due to the pandemic. So the budget focused on getting India's growth engines back online. What no one anticipated was Russia's invasion of Ukraine less than a month later, or the spillover effects this would have globally. The months that followed have not been easy, with multiple headwinds that threatened to push India off its course from becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. But on a few major budget targets, we have managed quite well. Take fiscal deficit for instance. Budget 2022 had set a fiscal deficit target of 6.4%, and as things stand, the government looks to be on track to get this level. One big reason for this is tax buoyancy. Budget 2022 had estimated direct tax collections of 14.20 lakh crore rupees for the current fiscal, higher than the target that was set for last fiscal, which was at 14.10 lakh crore rupees. And after adjusting for refunds, the net direct tax collections so far this fiscal stands at 11.35 lakh crore rupees. That's 80% of the target already achieved. And with the last 3 months left, which usually see higher tax collections, so the target could be surpassed too. In this regard, indirect tax collections also offer strong support. GST collections have averaged above 1.4 lakh crore rupees per month, which puts the government on a comfortable footing. Including December collections, GST mop-up stands at 13.4 lakh crore rupees this fiscal, with the festive season turning in nearly 20% higher mop-up than a year ago. The government also seems set to deliver its promise of an aggressive 7.5 lakh crore rupees in capital expenditure. Some of its other hits include the introduction of a sovereign digital currency, for which the RBI has launched pilots, forward movement on PLI schemes for 14 sectors, with a few schemes even starting disbursal of incentives, and spectrum auctions for the rollout of 5G services. But there are still a few areas where the government is in danger of missing its budget targets. The biggest by far is economic growth. With inflation prompting a string of aggressive rate hikes and global tremors finding their way to India, the big headline number of 9.2% growth is no longer realistic. The most recent RBI projection says that India is poised to grow at 6.8% this fiscal, and the fact that India remains one of the fastest growing major economies in the world is a little comfort. Another miss is the replacement of the Special Economic Zones Act with a new legislation that would enable states to become partners. But the Desh Bill remains stuck in interministerial discussions. The government has also had trouble in containing the expenditure, especially the high outflows on account of its free food scheme, fertilizer subsidies, and a larger import bill. Spending on all of these three has exceeded the budget estimates. The government has tried to control a lot of this. For instance, it has managed to merge PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana with the NFSA to bring down the food subsidy bill. Another area the government has not managed to meet its own estimates is on divestment. Against a target of 65,000 odd crore rupees, the government has managed to divest only 31,000 crore rupees. The government has also not been able to introduce the Banking Amendments Law Bill, which would enable privatization of banks. So, the promise to privatize at least 2 public sector banks this year has not been kept. It has also not made much headway in convergence of the old and the new direct tax regimes, and its intent to push agricultural reforms that would offer farmers a better price discovery mechanism remains just that, an intention. Now, all of these will have to get done sooner or later. So we'll have to see whether the way forward on these promises finds mention in Budget 2023 or not.